guys, so I wasn't going to do this, but frankly, what I've seen on YouTube, it's forcing me out of the shadows. I got to speak up. So you may notice the theme of the last week's videos is I sold all my stuff. I own like 3 objects, this desk and a bed. Look how minimalist and woke I am. And as you guys know, I'm a man of extremes. So if there's going to be minimalist and woke people on YouTube, I got to be the most minimalist and woke. And frankly, I thought it went without saying. I think it went without saying. Everybody in the comments said, Alex, you are by far the most woke person on YouTube at this point in time. And I'm like, thank you, I know. A few people said, Alex, do a house tour, prove it. At this point, I think to myself, you know, where I bathe and use the bathroom at isn't very relevant to you. In fact, I'm so minimalist, I won't even have a video on it because 0 is better than 1. And so I was gonna put this video to the side. But frankly, when I was browsing around YouTube and my suggested column, of course, when we're talking about how woke I am and how minimalist I am, YouTube has to challenge me. Okay, they have to go and say, hey, these guys are going to take your title of the most extreme person with no things in their house on YouTube. And I thought to myself, well, let me go check these out. And I just saw, frankly, a lot of fraud, a lot of posers, okay? I was looking at this one video from this guy named Nate O'Brien. It has like 1.2 million views. I don't see any difference between him and the Kardashians. The dude owns a couch. A fucking couch, Nate. Maybe a big screen TV so you can watch MTV, completely unacceptable, okay? That's about as minimalist as Toys R Us. It's just shit everywhere is what I'm trying to say. And then I go and look at Tech Lead's video. I'm like, okay, this guy seems like he's pretty woke. Dude owns cups. Cups. What is the point of owning objects to store liquid in? And then in his video, I think he was trying to hide this, but dude also owns a couch. I'm seeing this theme a lot. For some reason, people think they're minimalist, and then they go and buy a couch. That's like saying you're sober and drug-free, but you do heroin on the side. And then I just stopped watching when I saw a chair in the background of his video. This is fucking out of control. So I didn't want to have to do this, but I gotta show people how this is done. I gotta show people who is the most woke, because that is what the people demand. And I don't have any more random shit to say. Hopefully you guys can tell I'm joking. But I looked at the comments of the last few videos, and there's so many jokes about me being super woke now, and then all sorts of other jokes calling me an asshole. So I had to plan that a little bit. Look, but that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do a house tour because you guys requested that a whole lot. That being said, when I look through the comments, there's a lot of misunderstandings, and I want to clear up these misunderstandings. Not because it's like super important, but a lot of people on this channel like listen to my advice, and so I want to make it very clear what I'm saying and what I'm not saying, and what I'm promoting and what I'm not promoting. So first thing foremost, I'm not promoting anything that I'm doing right here, and I don't think it's essential at all to being an entrepreneur. I had my first $1 million year when I was dysfunctional, messy, drunk. I have none of the life skills or habits that I have right now. You don't need to do anything that I'm talking about this last week to be a successful entrepreneur. The reason why I'm doing it right now is this is the most demanding time in my life, and you're gonna see when I discuss the science behind what I'm doing, my brain was just completely overloaded. And also my resources and focus was just going towards so many things that aren't based around what I wanna do and where I get my happiness and fulfillment. And right now, my business is in a more demanding state than it's ever been. Hyros is right on the edge of really starting to scale, and it just takes my everything. And so I started to really notice that my CPU and how much load I had as a person was just getting wrecked. And so I was becoming inefficient, it was dragging me down, it was distracting me, and overall making me very unhappy. And so the whole point of what I'm doing is to be able to move as fast as possible. That's the point. I'm trying to get that extra 20, 30% out of myself that I couldn't get with a lifestyle that's distracted and full of just too many things that eat up my brain power. That's the point. And you don't really need to go to these lengths if you want to build a 7-figure business. You don't need to go to these lengths if you want to build a 6-figure business. If you have kids, family, or there's other things in your life that are more important than your business, don't do it. The thing that's most important to me is my work. That's why I did it. If your work isn't the most important thing to you, don't do it in a heart. Don't do it at all. It's not worth it. It's only worth it if the work is worth it to you, okay? Don't give up your life to play basketball if you don't really enjoy playing basketball. Now, the next thing I want to also clear up is I'm not preaching financial minimalism, okay? If you go look at Graham Stephan, he preaches financial minimalism. I think Graham's a genius. I was going to make a video on him called Smartest Person in the Room. I think very highly of him. I want to say that. That also being said, I don't want to live in a $1,200 per month duplex, and I generate enough money that's just, it's overly cautious. It's overly frugal. I'm not putting that down by any means, but what my focus on here is simplifying to the point where I can move as fast as possible. What I'm focusing on is removing objects and anything that can take up my brain power. It's all about brain power. It's not about financial minimalism. And also, if I live in a place where I don't feel good and the filming setup is bad and I feel uncomfortable all the time, or it doesn't feel nice and free and like a nice void for me, my creativity is stifled. And so that's why what I reduced to is I reduced the size of my home, and I still live in a nice place. I still live in a nice place because that's what makes me feel good, and to be able to move as fast as possible. I want as little as I possibly can to move as fast as possible. It's all focused on my efficiency and my productivity. It has nothing to do with financial minimalism, though I want to take as many resources as I can out of my life and put it all into my business. It's really more about being financially excessive just in my business. That's the point, okay? That's the point. And I also realized that a lot of the things where my money was going were just having a double whammy. They had negative financial consequences, they had negative focus consequences, and they were keeping me locked in the things that weren't even valuable to me and separating me from the thing that was most valuable to me. So that's what I'm putting forward here. Now, also, what I'm doing has a lot to do with science. And I'm going to go woke global warming scientist on you right now. But seriously, here's the point. There's two things you have to understand when it comes to how you live your life and how your brain works. So your brain is a lot like the CPU of a computer. Now, this metaphor isn't going to perfectly line up with the physics of a computer, but it's going to be enough to make my point. So you have the amount of load that's on the computer, how much the computer is handling at one time. And the more it's handling, the warmer that computer is going to run at until it just starts to overheat. And once it starts to overheat, it's going to become less efficient. If you've ever been using your computer when the CPU is all locked up, it starts getting really, really warm, or maybe this is older computers like laptops, but it starts getting really warm and everything starts to get really slow and not efficient. Your brain is the same exact way on a few different fronts. So first off, there's willpower. And so a lot of you guys struggle to sit down and do 12 hours straight of work. You struggle to do anything for a long time and stick to your guns. One of the reasons why I think people have trouble doing this is willpower is very finite. If you look at all the choices and you look at all the things we have to resist day to day, it's nothing compared to a caveman in the past, which is what our brains were developed around. There weren't very many temptations. There weren't very many things for you to say no or yes to as a caveman. So when you go and actually look at willpower studies, for example, here's one of them. Again, this isn't the exact study, but this is going to give you the gist of it. They would have kids come into a room, and one kid would have a cookie on the table and he'd be told, hey, you don't eat the cookie. And so the kid would have to sit there and resist the cookie for 20 minutes. Another kid was able to come in and they're like, hey, do you want the cookie? You can eat the cookie if you want it. Of course, the kid usually ate the cookie. Then both kids were given a test after the cookie period. And the kid that was allowed to eat the cookie, aka didn't have to tap into his willpower, did significantly better on the test. The moral of the story is, and this has been confirmed through many other tests and studies, willpower is very finite, and you don't have an infinite amount of it. So if you put two entrepreneurs in a room, and one entrepreneur has all sorts of temptations, all sorts of other things that have to eat up his brain, all sorts of things he has to say no or yes to, or put into boxes to deal with later, he's going to do significantly worse, because what's happening is the CPU load is getting way too high. And once your CPU load gets really, really high, it starts to overheat and you start getting way less efficient. One thing I noticed with my lifestyle is I'm in the most demanding phase of my business ever. It's harder than it's ever been, work and time-wise and focus-wise. And my CPU was running at like 120% and my efficiency was just going down. I'd just be exhausted, it'd be a mess. And I don't have those problems anymore. I can bust out a 12, 14-hour day like that. It's easy because I don't have anything else to think about. Let me put it this way. So when I would wake up at my home, I had a very large house. I had a pool. I had 4 different AC units. There's so much space to keep clean. There's so much space to fill. There's so many variables to the house, for lack of better words. And I want to point out again, I've been very successful being a complete mess of a person. But once you get to the point where you're trying to manage like a really tightly wound company, you have to become tightly wound in a lot of other aspects of your life. And so what would happen is I'd wake up and I'd have all these clothes and I'd have all these messes in the house that are so big, and then I have to deal with the staff that cleans the house. I have to deal with the pool guy. Oh, the pool levels are low. Oh, these 5 light bulbs are out. This thing is not working. Or the house isn't perfectly clean in this area right here. And what happens is those are not necessarily life-altering problems, but they go and get put back in a space in your head to deal with later. And when you're a person that is trying to be a completionist in your life, those things become drains, big drains very quickly on your brain. And so what would happen is that the amount of drain that my actual life would take before I even got to the hard stuff was too much. My CPU wouldn't run well. Now with nothing in my head ever, my CPU runs very well. It doesn't get overheated. I can run at a nice stable 70%, and that allows me to work a long time. Also allows me maximum amounts of focus in my business. I don't have any thoughts that come in my head or any problems that are not based around my business. So it allows me extreme focus. For example, I read every single support ticket at Hyros right now, and I wouldn't be able to do that or keep up with that if my CPU was running at the 120% it was. The next thing you need to understand is where that CPU burnout comes from is the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. Sort of. Okay? So some people try to take this to an extreme. Here's the thing that I find about it. When you're trying to behave one way in life and then you have other parts of your life that are incongruent to that, it throws off that thing you're trying to achieve in that one aspect. So for example, in my business, I'm trying to be as minimalistic in business as possible because that's always been the pattern to really successful businesses. Very tight, very well managed, very, very well processed systems. And that requires being exact in completing every single thing you do. That means everything needs to be as simple as possible, as complete as possible, and everything's done right the first time. Okay, great. You can do that in business. I'm achieving that in business right now. I only sell 2 things. I have 2 funnels, and I only have 1 set of ads, and it's doing pretty well. It's doing pretty well. Leave it at that. The thing is, when you look at my old lifestyle, it is impossible to live like that when you have so much excess. If you have a business that's all over the place, it's impossible to do what I just spoke about. But then again, you look at my lifestyle, all over the place. Total mess. There's so many aspects, so many variables, and the way to keep everything simple is to reduce the variables. But what would happen is if you look at my house, you look at all the things, it's impossible to keep all those variables in order because there's too many of them. Keeping the house clean, keeping the pool levels right, maintaining your car. There's so many things that come with being rich that just load your life with variables. And so when you're trying to be a completionist and a simplest in this one form of your life, and then this other form of your life right here is as out of whack, you're going to want to bring what's most important to you in this part of your life. And what happens is this becomes such a drain because you can't keep up with it. You can't keep up with it. So I just blew it up. And so now my brain works a lot better. I can think a lot clearer. I have so much more focus, and it allows me so much more energy. Again, this is to work at a 12 to 14 hour a day level with focus. You don't need to do this if you're becoming a basic entrepreneur or you want to build a business. You don't need to do that, okay? So I just wanted to clear up those things, and then I also wanted to knock out 2 videos in one video by giving you guys just a quick house tour, okay? I'm also going to go over kind of my basic day-to-day because you guys asked at the same time. So let's do that. Let's go. Okay, so I'm going to try and narrate this the best I can. Last time I did house tour was super awkward. Anyways, I usually get up about 3 a.m. each day based on my sleep chronotype. And I've explained in other videos, so I'm not going to explain it. I don't suggest anybody gets up at 3 a.m. unless it suits them really well. It works really, really well for me. So basically going to take this back to where everything starts at and the whole general start of the day. So usually, of course, I sleep in a bed. This is the bedroom. As you can see, it's just a bed. I don't know how I'm going to narrate this for the rest of the video because there's not enough stuff to talk about. But there's a lot of things people do sleep-wise with like blackout windows and all sorts of other nonsense. I find just going to sleep at the same time and having a white box machine or a white noise machine like this gets the job done. I don't think a lot of the things going around in sleep right now are that essential. Usually, if I'm going to watch any TV or anything like that, or like any documentaries or anything, I'm going to use that laptop right there with the Flux app on it. You want to have that yellow screen, and I also have what's called a sleep jet right here. My buddy Sam actually alerted me to that, and that's going to pump underneath the bed, so if it gets a little bit hot in here or something like that, it will cool everything down so that you can sleep more efficiently. So that's essentially all that's going on in there. Now, just going back to my closet, I'm actually like, I think wardrobe plays a lot more important of a role than you would think because I have only just my work clothes and I have and then I have a few normal day-to-day clothes, but I also keep all my clothes in these 3 drawers right here for work. So I have shirt, pants, every other necessity like socks in those drawers, and so everything's in the laundry right now. But I can basically go through those drawers right there, and I have everything I need to wear instantly when I wake up in the morning in seconds. So it just allows me a lot of efficiency when I'm going through there. Then I just have basic necessities, skincare routine, and some CBD oil right here, which may work or may not. I don't really think CBD oil works at all, but I take it. Not sure why. Again, drawers and everything super empty. I don't want to have anything excessive in my life at all. I want to have everything that I need in one place, and then that's it. So this is basically everything that I own in my bathroom. That's what I use to shave my face. And that's a toilet. And that's a trash bag. Anyways, so when you look in my closet, I honestly believe that the hardest decision we have to make every single day is the clothes that we wear. So I just got rid of everything. I have a jacket, I have 3 shirts, I have 3 pairs of pants, and then I have 2 pairs of shoes. And that just covers everything for like normal or going out kind of clothes. And I just have work clothes. I wear the same hoodie, the same pair of pants, the same tank top every single day. I have different variations of it. It's all just in laundry. And then I just have a bag that I can store everything in. So if I need to leave at any time, I can just put everything in that bag and I'm good to go. All this will easily fit in there. So that's basically how the living conditions, sleep conditions, all that jazz works. It's not too much to it. So then we can move into like the living area, or basically my office. This is where I'll sometimes sit to read books or whatever. No need for a couch, okay? Like I'm not a Kardashian, I don't need a couch. And then I'm gonna come over here every single morning. I got my to-do list, everything I need to be looking at and working on that day, all listed for me. I don't have the refrigerator stocked right now, but I really don't eat much. I eat turkey meat, I eat grass-fed beef, I eat ghee butter, I eat almonds, and I eat bags of spinach and carrots. That's it, okay? There's not much going on in here. And so there's usually nothing in there because I'll just walk to the grocery store then of each day. And I do about a 24-hour fast every single day. And I'll just walk to the grocery store at the end of that 20 to 24-hour fast and just get everything I need for the day. So it's pretty damn simple, and I never have anything going on there. Of course, you guys have seen this set up. I also do have a chair. I don't stand and work the entire time when I'm working. And I don't suggest standing for 12 hours a day. Sometimes I'll do it, sometimes I won't. And so this is basically where all the work gets done. You guys already see this when you're looking at the video. I have this piece of art that I brought from my last place. I really like it. I think it looks really good. Not very minimalist, but you know. And then as we go into the kitchen, there's the same exact mindset with the kitchen as there is in the bathroom. I want to keep as little as possible. I have 2 knives and then plastic forks. And this yellow knife is actually really important. I couldn't get by without this thing. I use it to cut boxes and cut food, cut literally everything. It's the most important. It's one of the most important items in the entire house. Then I have another room over here, which is absolutely nothing in. I kind of call it like my medical room because I got my hyperbaric chamber in there, and then I have this red light therapy thing. Again, these aren't super minimalist, but I'm not minimalist when it comes to health. I need these things to help keep my brain at like its peak capacity. Again, these are not essential things, and I just have some extra film equipment and junk in here, but it's mostly just a completely empty room with medical devices in it. And that basically wraps up everything. I think that's all there is to it. So guys, that is the house tour. Again, if you haven't left a like yet, go below, hit that like button, just smash it, punch your computer, do whatever you want to do to it. And what I'm going to be doing on this channel from now on is I'm not going to be uploading 4 videos a week. I'm probably going to be uploading on Mondays and Fridays and doing a live stream on Wednesday. So be sure to go below and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you definitely get notified about those live streams because they're going to be pretty cool. They're always cool. And we always go off topic and talk about all sorts of really weird shit on them. So it's a lot of fun. So that being said, guys, leave me your feedback below. If you have questions, let me know. If you have criticism, I also like that as well. If there's things about the video that you don't like, let me know that as well. And I usually check out and read all the comments and respond to a lot of them in the first 24 hours. So that being said, I'll see you guys next Monday, and thank you so much for watching. Awkward, I don't have anything to say, but I'll see you next time.